on to 6.0, the Pledge of Allegiance. We have an Eagle Scout in attendance here. Mr. Fox, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. We're going to move on to 7.0. Public comments, recognition, reports. Seeing none, moving on to 8.0. 8.1, AATA representative. Mr. Jorgensen.
I thought he was here, but
I saw he was here.
I don't know if he stepped out.
Okay, he's currently not present. If he comes back, if he'd like to make a comment, I'll go back to 8.1. 8.2, CSEA representative. Not present. 8.3. Dr. Woodard.
Mr. President, members of the board, it's my privilege to introduce you. You probably may already know this young man. Spectacular young man, Sam Fox. We have every year Eagle Scout representation, and they have done enormous projects for this district. Once again, as I've done pretty much every year, I'd like to recognize Sam, and he has a little presentation. It'll only take just a few minutes, and then if we would, I have a certificate I'd like to award him, and so let's go through that. Sam, if you could, go ahead and start your presentation, and then we'll continue. We'll talk a little bit about his project and what
Thank you.
the floor is yours. You stand at the mic, or we'll manage the project for you.
All right.
Let's go over here.
So my project was an emergency, we're helping implement an emergency plan for Meadowlark School here. So what we did this on May 16th. Well, we made some changes to the locations of emergency equipment and supplies and consolidated it mostly into one central bin on campus. That included moving emergency equipment, building shelves to accommodate stuff we took out of the bin and relocated to a second. We made ID badges on lanyards for students, including their names, health conditions, siblings, so that we don't lose any. In the case of emergency, we don't lose any children. And we made instruction binders for emergency protocol that we put in every room. So we had a tremendous turnout, which is, I was surprised at how many people came, and I'm glad that we got that many people. So we got it done quickly and well. So this is the budget for it. We raised some money, including going to ask the Palmdale Rotary Club for their help in it, and they allocated $100 to help with the costs of building materials. PTSO donated the binders and office supplies that were necessary for making the lanyards and binders, and Lowe's pitched in 10% of the purchase on lumber and other materials needed. And then we got lunch for all the volunteers who came. So these are, well, it's kind of cut off by the curtain, but these are pictures of the bins. The top one is the first bin before our project. The bottom picture is the second bin before our project. This is people working on it. The top is the first bin as we had been moving everything out. Second is them sorting my volunteers sorting with emergency materials. And this is afterwards. On top, you can see the new shelves. We built them freestanding so they wouldn't come down in an earthquake. And quite a bit of the equipment now is there. And the bottom bin we organized. We put in all of the emergency equipment that Mrs. Tredick wanted us to do, and we organized it all into cabinets and labeled them with what was inside it. This was shelf construction, bearings. We got tons of volunteers. Everything that went with it.
Can you identify some of the volunteers?
Oh yeah,
sure. Just
That, my mother is in the left, one in the left, and...
Did you have other Eagle Scouts there too? Or
I had some other scouts from my troop volunteer, and some from other troops who are just my friends come and help. We had a large amount of actually people from either PTSO or just parents who were interested in helping, because I think it got put on the schedule, so some people thought, oh, we'll come and help, and that was very well appreciated. That was a bit. And this is the finished product of the, I'll say the indoor project, the more like binders, pamphlets that went into classrooms and everything.
So basically, you can see this is, I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now we've had the Scouts, specifically some of the Eagle Scouts, under the direction. Who is your troop master, if you will?
My Scoutmaster is Mr. Price, Vincent Price. I go to a troop in Palmdale, troop 737.
And how many years have you been doing this, and how long does it take to become an Eagle Scout?
Quite a while. I've been doing it since second grade.
Second grade. And so it's taken you since when? When were you awarded Eagle Scout?
June.
So since second grade, and you're now in what grade?
I'm now going to senior year.
Okay, so you can see it's a significant amount of time, commitment, and effort. Specifically why I wanted to recognize Sam and others that are in the Eagle Scout. They do stuff like this every summer. It's a phenomenal opportunity for these young men to help out the district. They've helped Will Simmons several times in different projects and over the years. So again, Ed, if you come with me, please. Mr. Porter is the board president, and I would like to award you a certificate of achievement, if you will, and appreciation for your work at Meadowlark. And so thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate it. I'll let you give that to him.
Thank you, Sam. Congratulations. Student representative, introduction.
Hey, Mr. DeVoe, you can come up. You have 2 young ladies here. I'd like to have Mr. DeVoe describe the process, the situation, and give us a little introduction, and maybe they can also say a few words to us.
Welcome back from summer break. I guess this is, there we go. I have the pleasure of introducing 2 of our finest seniors, starting their senior this year, Riley DeSasso and Madeline Kessler. Ladies, if you could come up for a moment. We began a process 3 years ago, if you remember, of doing an extensive on-site marketing program, advertising the opportunity students to be a representative to the board. And they fill out an application, which you can see inside there. It has a lot of different components, including letters of recommendation from teachers. They have to write a personal essay on impact and representing students, as well as their transcript, all of which is included in the packets before you. There were 4 or 5 applicants. We put together a panel that had full representation. We had the ASB executive president at the time, Margaret Smith. We had 2 different teachers, administrators, counselors, and classified staff. Went through an extensive interview process, tried to keep them relaxed as they sat at the end of the table with a full panel. And both girls did wonderfully. If you read just their essays alone, the transcripts are obvious. It's A and A+ across the board, even back through High Desert. They're outstanding students with mid-4 GPAs, toward the top of their class. But it was their character, and if you look at their essays, both of them talk about the importance of community. Both of them volunteered with the service club. Both of them have a background already of service and really creative and sophisticated ideas about how they can help students represent not just Vasquez, but the other sites as well, which they're supposed to do. We haven't seen as much of that in previous years, but both girls on their own identified that as a need. So I guess they've prepared a few words for you. I'd like to introduce them to you. I'm very proud this year of both students, and I think they'll do a very good job for you, for all of us.
Ty, before you leave, can you tell us the configuration and how that's going to look this year?
Both are involved in athletics in one form or another. we've been a little bit lucky the last few years in that it's worked out well. One was fall and one was spring. Both of them have commitments and pretty heavy AP schedules. So the way they would like to do it, I think Riley's going to begin, and we're going to kind of see how things go, and they're going to work together. You'll probably see a little bit more subbing for games than we've seen in the past, but both have assured me that they're committed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Riley? We'll start with Riley DeStasi.
I'm senior at Vasquez, and I'm excited to be representing the student body over at Vasquez here at the board this year. And although my dad is on the board and my brother has had this position preceding me, I am my own person and I do have my own goals and achievements for this year. And I plan on being an effective student representative for this year. As Mr. DeVoe said, my classes are mostly AP. 4 of my 6 courses this year are AP, and I currently have a 4.3 GPA. And my goal is to study animal science and to become a doctor of veterinary medicine. And that's me.
Now Madeline Kessler.
Hello, I'm Madeline Kessler. I'm also a senior at Vasquez, and I'm involved in a lot of different groups, and I think that'll help me to get more of a consensus to bring to you guys, to get a bunch of different opinions from all sorts of people on campus, not just the people that do sports or the people that are in service, but everyone across the board. And I'm looking forward to trying to help out and give some of the student opinion. That's all.
Now you know, since you guys sit here, I'm going to grill you all year long about your progress towards getting into college and what college and why you didn't pick my alma mater.
He does that every year.
It's the best part of the job, is sitting in the seat, hearing about you guys.
We saved that specifically for you.
Okay.
Dr. Woodard, if we have a moment for a picture, if that's okay.
Of course.
Riley, just real quick, I wanted to commend you in your application essay. You focused on your service for what you plan on doing in a service-oriented manner towards the student body. I really appreciate that because that is what you're going to be doing. And also, Madeline, it's very impressive that you're the assistant director, I understand,
Yes.
of Harmonic Bronze Handball Ensemble, which is one of the jewels of our district, and we really appreciate Mr. Rowland doing that. And I know that's a very serious position for you to hold, and I commend you on that. Thank you for both of you for your service.
Thank you.
Well, and I just want to let you guys know, the meetings go late sometimes, so once you've done your part, if you'd like to stay as long as you want, you're welcome. And you'll be able to gauge it pretty quickly after you've been to a few meetings. You're welcome to, go after, whenever you feel like it, okay? So don't feel like you have to stay the whole meeting because you have homework and everything else. So once you've done your report, feel free to do.
Well, what we'll do, since I know you don't have a report prepared for tonight, it'll be the first time the next board.
So you guys don't have to stay. Thank you, guys. All right, so we're moving on to 8.5, Dr. Woodard, DHS new construction report.
Okay, so as many of you may know, we have a dedication ceremony on August 29th at 11 a.m. up at the new Vasquez High School. Appreciate Lillian for publishing that and helping us with those invitations. We've had it on our district website. We've sent out letters. We have quite an invitation list. We have invited literally hundreds of folks. Obviously, everyone in the community is welcome to attend. We plan to have quite an event. We'll have food and tours and music.
Is
And
Rosalind or someone like that coming from the supervisor?
yes, and we actually have, I believe, Mr. Knight, Congressman Knight is coming himself. He's confirmed. So we have several other politicians, if you will, that will be there, and they're excited about it as well. So we're very anxious to have this event. Obviously, I'm expecting each of the board members to be there, please. And again, we'll talk a little bit about that. But again, I just wanted to make sure everyone knew in the community that it's an open invitation. We're going to have quite a few students that will be there to do tours. Again, I hope I have enough food. I've got quite a bit of food. I'm hoping I don't run out. But so we have quite a program for each of you, as well as the community, and we'll talk more about it at that time. So
Is it outdoors?
it is going to be
The new quad.
a little amphitheater there. Yes. So I'll delay some of my comments until that time, but again, I look forward to that event. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Woodard. Do you have a superintendent report?
Yeah, just real quickly, I did want to congratulate, maybe a little bit prematurely, but at this point I think it's appropriate. The board election will not be held this year, which I believe is a great thing. Saved the district approximately $30,000 to $40,000. We had two folks that actually put in paper to continue their service to the board. Mr. Larry Layton and Mr. Mike Fox will both be back. They were the only two that actually put in paper for the election, so no election will be required. So once again, congratulations to both of you. I'm very happy to work with both of you.
I regret no one gets to read my candidate statements.
We don't regret that.
You can always publish them anyway.
Yeah, but it saves us lots of money.
And then lastly, I wanted to, and again, I kind of do this every year, but I think this year has been extraordinary. And I probably said that last year. But Will Simmons has done, and his crew, and there's 3 Marias, believe it or not, a variety of different other folks that have really made our schools, I think, the best they've ever lived. High Desert School received full paint job. The gymnasium, or the NPR, is currently being redone. We're looking at redoing the entire parking lot, the lower asphalt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This particular school has received some of the similar. We did the entire playground, and obviously didn't do anything at Vasquez other than go to the meetings all the time, and obviously plan for that. We'll talk a little bit about that. But I think, again, High Desert, the extraordinary effort that Will put together, that school has never looked better. It looks fantastic. I want to publicly thank you and your crew for making those things happen. So thank you, Will. That's all I have.
Thank you, Doc. We'll move on to 8.7, board member comments. Mr. Fox.
So let me start by welcoming everybody back who didn't work through the summer already. I don't see many teachers out there today, but welcome back. I'd especially like to, on my part as an individual board member, welcome our new principals. I have often expressed to the rest of the board and Dr. Woodard that I believe the most important role in our district is principals. More important than the superintendent, although I appreciate his leadership. More important than any single teacher, principals are running the schools. They're at the front lines. They're setting the expectations for our children, our teachers, our parents. It's my hope that you're in the classrooms and observing and identifying developmental needs that all employees need of some sort. And to me, those tasks are absolutely critical. So good leadership in the school is, I think, the single most important thing. And I am pleased you're with us, and I hope that you find this a rewarding place to work. And I hope that you find I think you'll find, we have a very supportive parent staff, or not parent staff, parent community. That's the great thing about small schools in a small district. I hope you'll also bear with our sometimes overbearing parent community, because that's one of the tough things in a small school in a small district. So it's a double-edged sword, but I hope you'll see the benefits of that and are fruitful here.
And when we get to that point on the agenda, I'll be introducing them.
Did I screw up and speak too soon?
No, not at all. But I just wanted
Okay.
Lillian and the press to know that they'll have a few comments in a minute.
My bad.
I was waiting for you to approve it,
Sorry.
but that's perfectly okay.
The only other thing I was going to mention in my board sorry about that, member comments is I am very appreciative of the work that the superintendent and Mr. Will has done over at High Desert. I like to go to work at a place that makes me feel good, that feels cared for, that I can, that I know is appreciated. And when students go to school, they're working too. And they should go to a place that is well maintained and well cared for and that they can be proud of. And certainly our teachers. And so you may say it's just a coat of paint or just some asphalt sealant in the parking lots. But I think it's a tremendous statement about what we think of our kids and what we expect from our teachers and what we want to enable them to be able to do. And so I'm very appreciative for that. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Mr. Vistasa?
That, just a general comment to thank both the superintendent and his collective staff. While I've been out touring the western United States and Mexico and everywhere else, trying to forget that I'm a school board member, a lot of hard work has been done in a very short period of time over the summer. In terms of getting Vasquez ready, open its new campus, to hiring new personnel to lead us into the school year, to deferred maintenance projects. It's probably the busiest summer that I can think of in my tenure as a board member. We left the school year not sure whether we were going to be able to get into Vasquez on time. With the parent community, you happen to sense or make a statement, well, it may not open on the first day of school, and everybody goes ballistic on you. What? It's not going to be open. But there's been a yeoman's job done over the summer with new staff, old staff, and a lot of effort's gone into it. It's appreciated. It's just been a busy summer, and you're all to be recognized for pulling it off in the next week and a half.
We will be open day one. Put that in the bank.
Anyway, congrats to everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Stossel.
All right, that's it. Thank you. Mr. Layton?
Well, I just, so happy to see that we're going to finally have the dedication of the new high school. It's been a long time coming, and a lot of work, and a lot of failures, but a lot of successes. And I just thank the day that we had the consultant tell us a few years ago, now or never. The board chose now, and now we get to see the fruits, especially this Saturday. That's all I have. Oh, and to say thank you to the community. I'm sure it'll make the pages there for my privilege to get to sit here a third 4-year term.
Thank you, Mr. Layton, and congratulations on your 4th term, and Mr. Fox,
Third term.
Third term, and Mr. Fox on your 2nd. I just wanted to thank you. I mean, I can reiterate what my honorable colleagues here said. And, I just think your integrity, your work ethic, innovation that you have, and you foster an environment that your staff operates in the same manner. And I can't thank you enough. If you look back a couple of years ago where we were at, you know, we were broke. We had the financial watchdog assigned to us. You know, we were under threat. And through some entrepreneurial and innovative ways, and things that I'm personally very proud of through a service that we provided for the parents, we've been able to save the district. And, you know, we have cash reserves to a level that, you know, at some point was disclosed, but it's very, very impressive. And that's after all our legal fees are paid off. So I think we've embarked upon some very successful things here that deserve recognition. I want to thank the community for the bond that they provided us, but the matching portion of that, we had no idea if we were going to get. If we had been opening just a school this year, phase 1, we'd be considering ourselves very successful and happy. However, we've gone beyond our dreams. We have not only the full funding for the gym, but it's also partially built. We're looking at it, actually. It's just incredible. I can imagine being at a better place, and I'm very proud of what we've accomplished. And the small part that I've played on this team is one of the things that I'm the most proud of in my life. I think we've done a great turnaround here in a few years. Thank you, Dr. Woodard, and thank you, the board. And we've done some great things since Mike got here. I greatly appreciate your participation. Every one of the board members here has, I think, done an amazing job. And really looking forward to the future. I think our campus is going to unify the district, the communities. It's going to be beneficial. I took a tour of it today. There's facilities that are second to none. Like our pulmonary facilities, you're saying you have a professional coming over there that she's crying just seeing the facilities. I'm so excited to come there from Northridge. You know, and I think we're going to have a momentum in the next few years that will greatly benefit from, and the residual benefits of this facility will go far beyond just the physical aspects of it. So thank you, Dr. Woodard, thank you, the staff, and I really want to also thank the community for its graciousness and patience in this long process. We're going to approve here the minutes of the regular meeting of June 25th, the warrant register, and the school site handbooks, 9.1 through 9.3. Do I have a move?
Move. I'll second.
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Descaso and seconded by Mr. Fox. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
401. 10.0, educational and student services. Do I have a move for 10.0?
Move. I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any discussion?
Yes. As I read this is just a language change at this point.
Simply, that's all it is. There's really no impact to the fees themselves. There's something that, you know, when we say reduced fees versus you're going to get it for free, and that's simply what we're changing in the language. If you look at it, we were able to say, instead of it saying eligible for free transportation, it's reduced.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to make sure that we're just looking at a language change. That's what it appears to be.
Correct.
In terms of
That's all it is.
The administrative reg. Was there any consideration yet about examining the fees themselves?
We are, and that's a whole different topic of
It is.
conversation. The answer is yes. But I think we're going to wait till we get to our first interim, and then we'll have that conversation as a budgetary concern.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're fully participating in that.
And we'll give you a full rundown of transportation and any kind of encroachment that we have in that particular fund.
That's it, Mr. President.
Okay, so no further discussion on 10.1. Can we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
401. 10.2, LA County Plan for Expelled Students. Thank you. Ed Code 48926. I'll second it.
Who seconded?
Ed.
Any discussion on 10.2? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
401. 11.0, Personnel Services. 11.1, Employee numbers 151617 through 619. It's recommended the board ratify the resignation release of the following certificated individuals.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Let's first move it in.
I'll move.
Okay, second? Larry?
Second.
Okay.
Usually, when we're approving, adding employees, the numbers are sequential. Is it just chance that we're releasing numbers that are all sequential?
I just have a running tally of numbers, and each person just gets assigned a number. If
They
it's a
do
coach,
when they come in, but when they leave,
it's for that school year. So if they come in 10, 11, and they exit 14, 15, that's what those numbers represent.
He's saying he understands that, but he's saying how did they coincidentally happen 3 in a row to be ones that are dismissed.
Well, they've resigned.
That's what you're saying.
So
I understand.
you're saying the chance of that happening?
What is the chance?
When they came in, they were
They
assigned.
came in
to-
together and they're all leaving together.
That's not their employee ID number.
That's a different number?
That's not their employee ID number.
Right.
This is a number that Lucy assigns administratively so that she can track the
This
teacher
action.
without naming the teacher in an otherwise confidential.
All right. That's
So
fine.
there's no
So there's no
connection to the
typo.
accounting error issue.
To make a long story short, there's no typo.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's where I was
There we
going.
go.
And
Okay.
all I want to do is not have a typo.
So for clarification, numbers 151617, 618, and 619. That's an 11.1. We're voting on that. All in favor?
Aye.
401. 11.2, resignation, release of classified employees, and these are employees 151620 and 621.
I can move.
Second.
See, these numbers are consecutive too.
No.
Just be quiet. Okay, so Mr. DeStasso motioned it, I'll second it, and all in favor? Aye.
Okay, so we got Mark motioning and Ed seconding, and I as well.
Well,
I know.
Mr. Fox,
He changed.
what did you get? It's just so we can clarify.
Mark, we'll go with Ed's recollection.
Okay.
Mark motioned, Ed seconded, 401.
All right.
It'll make the meeting minutes go quicker.
We obviously haven't met in a while. We need
I know.
to, we need to oil this.
Oil it
here.
warmed
up.
You need to boil down.
I'm not oiled, that's the point. 11.3, approval of certificate employees. Now we're approving 151622 through 629 through 630, and for various principal, teachers, counselor, and do I have a move?
Move.
Mark DeStasso move.
I'll second.
Mr. Fox second. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. So certainly, obviously, the principals, the counselor is a budgeted position. That was part of our programming augmentation.
That's correct.
At the last budget study,
Yes, sir.
as was the math teacher
That's correct.
position and special ed. Now, for
That's
the
correct.
elementary teachers, obviously, one resigned, and so it would make sense for one to come in on the ledger here. 3 more elementary teachers.
28.
They're all budgeted?
2, okay, were additional teachers due to the reduction of class size. A third was there because we had a vacancy, if you will, last year. That was never filled. It was a long-term position.
Thank you.
So those 2 were already in the budget. The 2 that you're seeing here are also in the budget. We don't have anything outside of what we presented last time.
So that vacancy, we just subbed it and made it.
Yeah, we had a long-term position that we're now permanently filling.
I know.
Now, my next question is,
Yes.
since there's employee numbers, there's actually names in each of these spots, so we are fully
That's
staffed
correct.
at Meadowlark.
That's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Any further discussion on 11.3?
As we promised the community, we would.
That's correct. And day 1,
I understand. Not without a lot of work. I think it's,
All right, all in favor of 11.3? Aye.
I,
401,
Mr. President,
yes,
if you would, give me just a second.
please.
I'd like to introduce a couple different individuals.
Oh, please.
Even though you have ratified it, and I have hired them about a month and a half ago, it seems.
They've been working.
They've been working their tail off. These 2 individuals, let me start with the elementary director, and she's also an elementary principal, Cassandra Farley. If you would come up, please.
And this is for my,
Meadowlark. She is now the director/principal here at Meadowlark. Cassandra comes to us from Sulphur Springs Elementary, where she was the principal there. Very fortunate to get this young lady. She's fantastic. She's on the top 40, under 40 or something, administrators in the valley. And her accolades go a mile wide. So again, very happy to have Cassandra. She's a fantastic veteran, seasoned administrator, and I can tell you that it's timing for this school. We're very happy and very excited to get Cassandra. So if you would, maybe just a couple sentences.
Yeah, I am.
Or 3.
A couple. I'm so excited to be here. You know, with the Acton Agua Dulce School District, it was an exciting move to come over from Sulphur Springs. I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I've already been here 3 weeks and everyone has been so welcoming, hit the ground running, working on enrollment and new teachers and getting everything ready. But I'm just so excited to be here and be part of this community and be here for a while, to stay and watch things grow here at Meadowlark. And already the things that we've done just in the short time I've been here, it's been really exciting, and I look forward to a great several years to come. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to it.
Next, I'd like to introduce the director/principal at High Desert School, Lynn David. Lynn comes to us again from Sulphur Springs Elementary School District, and she was the CFO and has also been principal. Which school? Sorry. What school were you principal at?
Principal at Canyon Springs.
Canyon Springs, that's it. She was principal at Canyon Springs, also did some middle school work out in Keppel, has been around, and again, incredible administrator. Seasoned, veteran administrator, knows how to run schools. And again, forgive me on the actual numbers, but one of the schools she was at as principal, very, very underperforming in the 500s. I think it was an API when she left. It was
We raised 65 points.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, significant growth of EL population students. And so we have a broad range of experience to include some financial experience. You might be able to help Steve out a little bit, right?
Steve is doing a great job with our numbers.
She also works at USC. She does work at USC and was, and I don't know if it's through CASBO or if it's another certificate program, but
supporting
she does
the program.
work at USC and is an instructor down there teaching finance. And so again, seasoned administrator, knows what she's doing. I'm so pleased to have her here and join the team. So again, I can't honestly tell you that there's one weakness in this administration. For the first time, I can honestly sit here and pass the red face test, as Matt would say, and say that. This is the final piece, obviously, with Kim coming, and now Cassandra, and now Lynn, with Ty on board, the rest of the administration, and Janet, and on and on and on. Of course, Steve, my right-hand finance guy, I'm telling you that not one weakness exists on this administration. So with that, if you can tell us maybe a little bit about, and you have something to say as well. Thank you.
Well, I'm very excited to be here, and like everybody, I've been very, very busy. I've had an opportunity to meet a couple times with the leadership team, been meeting staff on campus, and just as you were speaking about earlier with all the changes that we're making, I'm kind of lucky because I get to come into, everything getting all spruced up, and so people are very happy about that. I know you've probably been hearing around the community, but as we've had our registration days with 6th grade and then 7th and 8th, and just people coming in campus, teachers coming on and off, they're just so excited they can hardly stand it. They said it looks like a whole different school. They are talking about how they're so happy they're coming from here. The school looks beautiful. Vasquez is going to open. The community is very excited. So I know I'm here for academics, but really just the buzz and what that is doing for the students that I've met and for the families. That's just, I don't remember who said it, but talking about just the idea that that's where we go to work, that's where kids go to work. They're already getting a sense of that. So just thank you all for your support.
The great thing about it, Ms. David has been in our parade, I don't know how many times, so she's a horse person at heart, and she, is a fantastic horsewoman, if you will, and rider, and her daughter was, Miss Lancaster?
Miss AV.
Miss AV, sorry, and so
in 2007.
She's actually been in our parade quite a few times, so she's very familiar with the community and clearly understands her politics. So again, welcome.
Yeah, I'm disappointed I wasn't hired in time for the water fight. I didn't know I was going to be here. I missed it this year, but next year.
Awesome.
We had a great one a few years ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. It was quite the, I know, I even told him about
at
it.
that time, that could have been ugly.
It could have been ugly.
There's a lot of forced activities they can get involved in.
Yeah, she's
Wonderful.
very familiar. She's done a lot actually currently.
I actually used to shoe horses at one point in time.
Yeah,
So another one of those little strange things that, but
You
I'm
get
glad to
hard
be here.
For a ferry.
I had one. So, but thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
If I could bring it to a serious note, just so that you know coming in, and I'm personally thrilled that your strong leadership is here. has so many choices in terms of its education. Our middle school has been our focus for a long time, and to move it in a more elevated and to elevate it in a more accelerated way, get it to where it should be. And with the conversion of one of our elementary schools, it was a feeder into middle school, into a charter school, we're going through great effort to try and move those charter kids into our middle school. But it's a product. We need to sell the school as a product somebody wants to buy. So we're looking at you coming in with high hopes that we can move that school in the direction that it needs to go in. You will see during future board meetings that there's a lot of attention and focus on the middle school and what we do at the middle school. And the district has always had a great reputation for its elementary schools. Its middle school and high school have always been the issue in question with the community. The high school has, I don't even recognize it from what it was years ago. It's made so many changes. But I think, on a frank and serious note, I think our middle schools are a big challenge now. So we look forward to the leadership team with you at the helm at that school to help get it where it needs to be. It's looking good physically, and if we can start to ramp up the rigor there and get those test scores and what have you, I think that's what's going to be the driving force for our community at that school. No pressure.
No, but the best thing about it, Lynn has a track record of improving schools. One of the reasons why I was so excited to get her. She's a veteran, knows exactly what you're talking about, has been there and done that kind of attitude. I know she's going to bring a professionalism to the school. I've already seen it in the short amount of time she's been there. So again, I greatly appreciate your effort, and he's absolutely right. You and I have had that conversation already, and I hate to say I told you so. But you hear it as well, and again, you have our full support, 100%. Thank you.
You know, where the challenge is going to be, and I've seen for middle school principals, I've seen 4 of my tenure, you have a challenging situation where there's a lot of turnover in leadership, and the staff has become very cohesive, and there's I think a very, there's a mentality in the staff that's often at odds between the accountability that the superintendent is expecting you to foster. So the mistake I've seen happen in the past, it's difficult. New principals will go in, they will maybe buddy-buddy with the staff a little too much, and they're unable to implement his direction when it comes to accountability. And that's all he wants from you. Accountability and his direction on what the staff, what he expects from the staff. And if your relationship with them gets to a point that's at odds with what he wants, that's where the difficulty I've seen. Because of the high turnover, the teachers there are very grouped together strongly, and it's going to be a kind of a tricky thing for you to do both things. So that's, you know, I was going to say that to you in private, but you know, I try to do those things in public as much as I can, and that's what I would recommend. That's what I've seen as the challenge over there. That,
I appreciate the advice.
You know, if you can understand what I'm saying. So that's what I've seen. The last 4 or 5 people failing. They've done a great job in trying to do the staff part, but not that part. So that relationship and that gray area is going to be a challenge.
Thank you. We hold high hopes with the strength of the administrative staff that we're in a good spot.
Absolutely.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but there's been a lot said. I would only add that messaging is very important. We just got an award at that middle school for schools to watch.
For a second time.
For the second time last year. There's lots of great stuff going on there, whether it's the GATE program that starts in 6th grade, the handbells program that is a model, you've heard about it tonight. in my opinion, having sent 3 kids, their educational programs are very sound. I mean, for me, I think that it's recognized math, and anything you can do to help us with the math over there, I think that the scores would suggest that that's where our emphasis has to be. But I wanted to make sure that people, because we are messaging to the community, that is a good school, but it isn't where it should be and where it can be. And that's our hope.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And then the only other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know, it came as a surprise to me, and I think that it's important, and I wish there were some parents here tonight, but, and it has to do with your school. Just by chance, I was looking over at Vasquez at the construction a week ago Friday, and ran into Nicole Hanish,
Yeah.
and she had said, and I'm at Vasquez now, oh, hello, Mr. Fox. I just finished doing your child Carolyn's schedule. Well, Carolyn's at the middle school. And I thanked her and went on my merry way. And it wasn't until I got in the car and got home and it dawned on me that, wait a minute, the counseling staff at Vasquez is going over to the High Desert and is helping to do the scheduling of those students. And it's that point that it dawned on me, that is awesome. I don't know whose idea it was, but leveraging that kind of continuity is incredible, and it's it's taking advantage of the small district that we have to get the most out of that situation. Your kids, my kid, is known over at the high school before she walks through the gates. That doesn't happen anywhere. I don't think it used to happen here, but at least it can happen here. The best analogy I have is it's like going to the doctor and they've read the chart before they walk in the room. And,
You must have a PPO for it.
yeah, no, it doesn't happen at my doctor. I wait 20 minutes, then he walks in the room and reads the chart. And so all I'm trying to say is something that I just let pass by, I think is very powerful, and it shows the synergies and the way that we can work together in a small district between schools to ensure that the programming lines up, that the students' needs are known both upwards and downwards. And I don't know whose idea it was. I want to thank them. And I want other parents to know that their kids are known at their high school before they ever go to junior high. It goes right to what Mark is suggesting in selling the junior high. It's important. There are plenty of opportunities there, and it's positioning them in an excellently vertically integrated district. So I thank whoever's idea that
Well,
was.
Dr. Woodard was wonderful in making arrangements so that Ty and I could work together and that Nicole and I could work together, and I really want to give credit to them for getting it done. It was a great dialogue, and to Dr. Woodard for setting that up to make it happen. It was really helpful, and it is great for me to know what's going on over there. I've been and seen their board, and they've seen ours, so.
But let's remember, it started here at the board, at the budget study session. If you remember, that position was recommended to the board and you approved it. It's now in place. She's there. She will be predominantly at the middle school, serving the students at middle school in a mental health capacity. She'll be doing some mental health. She'll also be working directly with Lynn to provide counseling services at the middle school. You can begin to see how critical it is as they matriculate up to the high school. Secondly, she'll also be working with Cassandra Farley at the elementary to provide some classes and some different things in a mental health capacity as well. And then lastly, and probably secondarily, because in terms of order of minutes or hours, she'll be at the high school, coordinating those services between all three.
That's the link I don't want to get lost.
No.
I don't want stovepipe schools when we have so successfully managed to not stovepipe them. So
Keep in mind, we still have Annalie Ortiz. She does a phenomenal job, and she'll coordinate with Nicole as well. But they'll be doing that, and that is a new thing that we started just this year. Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to 11.4. Approval of classified employees. It's recommended to the board to approve employment of the following classified employees. Employee numbers 151632 through 151637. Do I have a move?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I do want to point out one thing.
Okay.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support and effort. If you look at 151633, it's the maintenance custodian groundskeeper at Vasquez High School. That's a day custodian, full-time custodian, as per your direction. It's within the budget, what we discussed. We now have a full-time custodian on campus to maintain that facility. I think that's important to note, simply because I want to maintain the restrooms, we want to maintain the facility, we want to honor the facility that the community has afforded us to build.
No trash, right?
Absolutely, you can see those efforts are already underway. So thank you to the board for appreciating the facility and allowing me to hire that position.
It'd be remiss not to have that.
Absolutely. I wanted to point that out specifically. Thank you.
And it's not just that, it's things like by putting trash bins around the whole, campus, and, everything is just so ergonomically designed to prevent that too. So it's going to be, the miss, and like Mark said, we don't have someone for that.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that. Moving on to 11.5, approval of coaching personnel. It's recommended the board approve employment of the following coaching personnel: 151638 through 151640. This is girls soccer head coach, JV coach, volleyball girls, and basketball varsity coach.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 11.6, administrative salary schedule C revision. Do I have a move?
I'll move. Second.
All right.
Mike first, me second.
5, 6 Vistaso. Any discussion? All in favor?
Do you want to mention the amendment as amended on the?
Yeah. Okay, 11. With amendment attached to 11.6 that you made public, and here's the amendment. All in favor?
Before we vote, I just want to make a comment that, again, the superintendent is following the hints and direction from the board. He understands the importance of attracting and retaining qualified administrative staff. And I absolutely support the revision of the salary schedule to reflect these new numbers to make it happen. This is kind of an end result of all of our budgetary strategies and efforts to create capacity in the budget so that we can attract professionals as they sit in the back of the room today to do the job that we need them to do. We just got through talking about the middle school, and this is just not a place for a starter rookie. We need experienced, qualified, professional staff, and I don't know how you're supposed to get them
Without paying.
if you don't give them what they deserve to get. And as a small district, I don't know that we can ever be in line with LAUSD or something. But the fact is we have to do things like this, and I'm only saying this for the record. In the event that there are community members that question, well, are you being frugal? Why are you doing things like this? This is where the investment is. We can buy all kinds of high-tech equipment, we can do all kinds of things, outfit classrooms, which we've been doing by program over the last several years. But you need a professional operating that stuff, and you need a professional overseeing the person operating that stuff. And you're not going to get that with somebody who swears an oath to try hard. You need somebody who can do it. And so I fully support this salary schedule. And I don't know that we're done with it yet. I think we need to continue to find ways to create capacity in the budget so that we can put our money where our mouth is when it comes to educating our community's kids. So I'm wholeheartedly in support of this, and I want it on the record that this is a necessity. This isn't even a discretionary thing, it's an absolute necessity.
Yeah, it's not about being frugal, it would be unwise to not to do this.
So you can go poor, save money.
Exactly. All right, thank you, Mr. Estacio. And the vote on 11.6 was 401. We're moving on to 12.0, business and financial. 12.1, this is the painting contract for High Desert School.
I'll move.
I'll second that. Did anything change on this?
Now, this is the second one, and only because that extends it to the MPR.
Okay, I got it. Any further discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. 12.2, APSS Inc. contract, High Desert School. It's recommended that the board approve the contract with APS Inc. I will move this in. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Estacio. Any discussion?
If you would, Mr. President, this is the asphalt repainting of High Desert School. We're doing the lower basketball courts, we're basically doing the entire campus, to include the bus, the parking lots, the restriping, the lower section.
And the faculty parking lot.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be fantastic. It'll be absolutely beautiful. That with the new painting, the new MPR, we're redoing the entire MPR. It will be beautiful.
Sure.
We still have work to do.
What's our completion on this? Obviously, it won't be done before school starts.
Oh, it will be done.
All of it will be done.
Yes, absolutely. Asphalt begins this weekend.
Let me give it a little context. Sunday, I was driving by and I saw some cars in the parking lot. Sunday at 4:20 p.m. at High Desert. So I went snooping to find out who was there at 4:20. It was the painters that worked 7 days a week.
Here's something funny and anecdotal. This is the middle school is our church rents the middle school to have Sunday services. So we're in there in Sunday services, and the priest is doing his thing. And above the priest, outside, you can see the guy
On Sunday morning.
painting the walls on Sunday morning on the exterior. And everybody's looking at the guy.
I told them they have to get it done. It's not
Priest is
enough.
like, man, I don't know if we're paying attention to that.
And the
They're working
problem is
7
the
days a
painter
week.
took up 2 parking spots, so the parishioners had a hard time finding parking. Thinking, who is that? And then
They work hard.
You know, what's neat is I was at Vasquez today, and all the areas that are asphalted, right, they're like 2 inches below where they should be, right? So what they did over there is they asphalted everything first instead of finishing it, right? They're leaving the last layer after everything's done, so it doesn't get all messed up, you know? I thought that was kind of neat, and then once the project's done, we're going to have a fresh coat of asphalt.
All brand new when we get done.
That's really neat, because some other projects have just finished that first.
Yeah,
Then it gets all messed up. That's pretty smart, I guess. Okay, all in favor of 12.2? Aye.
Aye.
401. 12.3, Ontario refrigeration contract. I'll move that in. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I have a question on this.
Yeah.
So, because it's related with, I think.
Prop 39?
Yes. Could you explain, are they not working over there, or we're just replacing with higher energy efficiency ones?
Both. I'm going to say some of them are defunct, or having a hard time, finding parts, and they're just not working properly.
Are they original?
They are very original. I
Well,
think
20
there's
years
been some
old.
slight replacement over the
Have
years.
those ever got folded into the JCI project?
Those, I don't believe work. And so we'll selectively pick these simply because they are in the deepest need. So we're going to replace those air conditioning units over at High Desert. And it's all built out of Prop 39 funding, which is a deferred maintenance type fund. So
How
Good
much of
process
it
then.
comes from the Prop 39 funding?
how much of the dollars?
Yeah, all of it?
All of it.
Yeah.
So it's
Good
kind of
process.
earmarked funding?
That's correct. And it's categorical, has to be spent.
Full fund.
Very specific parameters, can't be spent anywhere else.
Okay.
All in favor of 12.3? Aye. 401. 12.4, notice of revision amendment on the certification of signatures. It's recommended the board approve the revision of personnel to be removed as an authorized signer on orders from the district funds. Megan Friedman, that's just natural, no one really does. I'll move this in.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Notice of revision amendment of certification signatures, so this is the same, we're just putting Kim on here on 12.5.
One is removed and one is added.
One's for me, one, yeah. So, do I have a move?
Move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Future agenda items, we don't have anything on right now. Any requests to add anything?
When are we going to get a resolution in front of us to increase the development fees?
It's a good question. I don't have an answer for you. That should happen ASAP.
I'd like to see that done sooner rather than later.
Can we put a resolution to increase the developers' fees on there?
That
please?
needs to happen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401, we're adjourning at 8:36 p.m.